My name is Cody Shambo. My parents are Reno Shambo and Donna Merrick. My grandparents are Louis and Jean Shambo and Cato and Phyllis Sells. I have 4 kids and 2 stepkids. I graduated from Hayes Lodgepole School. Then I attended Fort Belknap College, now Aaniiih College. I graduated with 2 degrees from ANC, and then I went to Northern, where I studied civil engineering up until my junior year. I was doing good, 3.85 GPA, when my daughter came along, so I had to start working. I was on the National Dean's list at the time, so yeah. After that, I began working for Blaine County. No, actually in ANC, I worked for BIA Forestry, and as an intern for ANC, I did forest inventory for the BIA. I also worked at Environmental as an intern, which I'm currently working. After that, I sprayed weeds for the county, noxious weeds, and currently I'm employed for the tribe, working at the environmental office, which I've been working there for 13 years now. So one way or another, I've been working in the environmental field pretty much my entire adult life. Currently I'm running for the Mountain Gros-Ventre representative position that Councilman Work is seated in right now. I'm running for this position because I believe I could help steer us in the right direction as being kind of business minded, I guess. As of currently, we are basically a service. We provide a lot of services, and we don't have an economic sense or mindset on the reservation, I guess. And in order to provide services, we need to create money, our own economy, through different sources of revenue, such as, like maybe expanding Island Mountain. We have this investor that was a big topic a few years ago. Why not start putting that money into our own, expanding our own portfolio? I understand that there is our own portfolio, but why not expand it? Start phasing out the middleman, I guess. Just different types of revenue we can go after, like cannabis being another big one. I think we could do it right. We can model it just like the state. We could open up shops, grow houses. And from what I heard from other candidates, that we basically will have a big head start on it. And I strongly believe we should pursue that. I think it'll create a lot of revenue for our tribe. But not just stop there. We need to diversify also. We need to find other alternative sources of revenue. More sources, the better. By creating this revenue and increasing, we can then turn around and provide better services. I've heard talk of the gaming machines down there. We've only owned 10% on the dollar, 10 cents on the dollar. So though we got some new machines, you know, maybe buy more, possibly open up a little small casino out south, you know. I'm just throwing some ideas out there. We need to become more self-sufficient. Everybody likes to throw around the word sovereign. We are, in a sense, sovereign. You know, we get to govern ourselves, make our own rules and all that. But we are also heavily dependent on the government. You've heard of the phrase, you know, hang by the Ford Indians. Well, basically we're digital hang by the Ford Indians. You know, we're sitting there waiting for that government grant to come through. We need to be able to stand on our own 2 feet and be able to take things into our own hands here. With the way the national politics are, you know, they're cutting all kinds of funding left and right. Swipe of a pen, the loophole for Island Mountain could be closed. And if that happens, hundreds of jobs will be lost. If hundreds of jobs, high-paying jobs are lost, then what? We don't have an economy to back that up. And a lot of people will hurt because of it. We need to start thinking like a business. Start thinking of revenue, ways to increase some profits, bring profits in. Then we could use those to build infrastructure, homes, stores, whatever, you know, anything we want, really. But like I said, everybody wants something. Not without money, you're not getting anything, really. And when I say model the tribe like a business, you know, there's a lot of things we could do, I guess. One of the things right away is freeze spending. We need to find out which programs are bleeding money, which programs are bringing money in. Demand an audit. Audit the whole tribe. That way we could take control of our profits and we could put them where we need them in order to increase, I guess, to expand our economy, to bring more money back. It takes money to make money. So, wasteful spending, our tribe. I know, I love my admin, you know. I always said I get all excited for admin, but in all reality that needs to stop, at least cut way back. I seen in Councilman Works interview, he mentioned $60,000 to $80,000 per day we we spend on admin leave. By going by those figures, year to date, we had 223 hours of admin leave, which equates to about 28 days. That's 1.6 million to 2.2 million that we've spent with zero production. That's, in my eyes, that's wasteful spending. We need to stop things like that. But at the same time, if we're going through this stuff, we also need to be accountable ourselves as councilmen. By being accountable, one of my ideas is have budget meetings in all of these communities. Open book budget meetings. If we're sifting through that looking, the people have a right to see it as well. We're representing people. You know, we're not some big high power boss, you know, that only the ones that get to see that. We are selected to go out and represent this group. So what we find, I think, in my opinion, we should be sharing. Open up these budgets, let people look at them. Nothing to hide. You know, if we find wasteful spending, they could see it too as well. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons why I'm running. Two years, the way the government operates, it operates at a snail's pace. To get anything done, I mean, you know, I'm just being brutally honest, open and honest. That's who I am. You know, it'll probably take our entire term to shift this mindset toward economic development. You know, down the road, I would like to see some money coming back from the term that I'm in there in. But in all reality, you know, I'm not going to go blowing smoke up people's ass, and you know, I'm not going to go promising the world. In all reality, two years is not very long, and it's tough to get something done in 2 years. I kind of support the 4-year thing. You know, there was some mention of that recently, of switching terms to 4 years. 2 years, what do you have, like 520 work days? That ain't very long. Definitely economic development would help improve stability. Like I mentioned, you know, it's a huge liability that we have being tied to these grants. You know, it really is. Funding can be pulled, yanked out from under us at any time. By creating our own funds, our own economy, generating our own revenue, that will create stability. It will improve our lives, everybody's lives. We have money to do things, build these things. I've been to other reservations where their economy is great. $20 million, $30 million wellness center. I've been to reservations where they've got 4 of them and building a new one currently. All because they focused on revenue. So yeah, long-term stability is us taking control, creating our own revenue, not depending on anybody. As far as the nepotism, that's really a tough one to solve, you know. Policy, but just following policy. Hiring the best candidate for the job, no matter the name. Maybe in the hiring process, the names need to be removed. We don't know who they are. We don't see their driver's license. All we see is their credentials. That might be one way to eliminate nepotism. So once we're scoring people, we don't know who they are. And we're going strictly off of the best person for the job. Absolutely. Yep. I think only half of our enrollment, if that, I think, live on the reservation. I think half live off, I think. Don't quote me on this, you know, I might be wrong, but it's something along those lines. Yeah, they need to be represented as well. They're part of our tribe. You know, just because they move away, maybe housing might be a big reason why they move away. We don't have homes here, enough homes to facilitate all of our people. So they moved to Harlem. They moved to Malta, Chinook, Havre. There's a lot of people in Havre. Just purely because of housing. You know, had maybe there were homes here, they wouldn't be living in these other communities, towns. So yes, I think we do need a representative. Not only that, but the people that live off the reservation, you know, they're living in an entire different world than we are, almost. It's like stepping into a time portal, coming back to the reservation. You know, it's so things move fast. You know, they might have connections in the city that can help the reservation, that can bring these different companies or corporate ties or something along those lines. You know, they're in the city. You know, so maybe they could possibly bring that back home to the reservation. That's a big issue to me, I think, personally. That needs to be solved right away. The way it's designed, we are breeding ourselves out. You know, there's a zero sum. No, any way you could try to twist it, no matter which way you want, we're going to zero. And it's going to happen faster than people think. You know, that needs to be changed. How we do it, there's talk of including all Indian blood, which I don't think is a bad idea personally. You know, back in the days, you know, the teepee days, tribes absorbed other Native Americans, you know, whether they captured them, whatever, they became part of the tribe. Let's see how that's much different nowadays. The only difference of that would be the services we provide. By including everybody, putting everybody as one, you know, one a certain amount. Our numbers increase quite a bit, but I don't think the services will increase to meet the population. But then again, I think the services are kind of based on numbers. So maybe they will adjust. Maybe that's something that could be negotiated. I'm not sure, but I think that needs to be figured out, sorted out. Absolutely. It's a zero sum. Our language and our culture. I don't speak it myself. I just wasn't raised around my language. I tried to get, you know, my kids involved in it. I'm glad my daughter is involved in preserving things, you know, what you guys are doing. My youngest baby, she goes to the language lodge. She's doing really good. Hopefully she continues with it, picks up the language. Not only that, our culture, our ceremonies, that's what make us separate from everybody else in the world. There's only about, I think our enrollment's close to like 8,500 or something like that. There's only 8,500 of us people out of billions on the planet. So, yeah, we're very unique. And that's what separates us. One thing that I really liked that the tribe recently did was they hired an advocate, you know, to go around and help. Maybe create some positions like housekeeping positions. You know, we could hire some young kids to go clean their yards, or, you know, clean their house, wash their dishes. We could just have like a little small housekeeping staff, possibly. Maybe just set up elder-only meetings, you know, make a meal for them, let them sit down, let them visit. I know the elders really like to visit, you know, do that once a month, every other month, or, you know, in each community, make sure that, you know, that they're coming out here to do the same services out here for their elders out here. One thing is a dialysis center, I think, is what's really, really needed. I looked into it a little bit. All it is rooms, basically. Rooms where they have dialysis machines that people put in their homes. And it wouldn't take much of a building to put, you know, 6 rooms in a small building. Some recliners, you know. They have to travel all the way to Havre. I've seen it personally, how played out they are after they come back from dialysis. It takes a lot out of them. And from what I've gathered and what I've heard is water, source of water. And that, like, what? How hard is it to put in a water filtration system? You know, that's what prevented us from having a dialysis center. And it's frustrating. It is. I'm sure there might be a lot more to it. But there's also consulting firms. A simple Google search, I looked into it and I come across a consulting firm that pretty much just rolls the rug out for you to help create these centers. I just don't understand how we don't have one. That would help our elders a lot. That is a complex document that's been going on for decades and decades. In the most basic terms, I guess, is either we decide what we want, the way I see it, or it goes to water court with the state and they decide for us what we get. I support the water compact. I think we should vote yes on it. It's not my decision anyway. It's over in Washington, you know. If that gets passed over in Washington, it'll come back to us and we all decide. So, no matter, personally, my own personal thoughts is yes, we should vote yes on it. It'll bring in to all our water. Water is the new gold. You see all these billionaires. Ted Turner owns all kinds of land. He's buying up water rights all across the country. The guy from The Big Short, he went into water. Water it's becoming ever more scarce. And once we quantify our water, we could start collecting it. In that compact, we'll build these 3 great big reservoirs, develop this pipeline, fix irrigation ditches. You know, it'd be awesome to have a big dam down there like Fresno on our reservation. It really would. I mean, just for the recreation, just for the fun of it would be awesome. But also, you know, it's a source of revenue at the end. We could sell it to everybody downstream, and as it becomes ever more valuable, that might turn into a lot of money for us eventually. Things are stagnant right now, I believe. And if it remains that way, I see us in 100 years still struggling. fighting still poverty. You know, our numbers are going to keep increasing. See more crime as numbers increase. If we stay stagnant, in 100 years, I see us pretty much living the same way we are. Of course, a little more modern. You know, the times are going to change. We're going to adopt some things, but we're going to live the same, pretty much the same way we are. We're resilient. You know, we'll always be here, but you know, our numbers will increase. Crime will increase. You know, we can't stay stagnant. We have to start moving forward. Go after everything you want. Go out, get aggressive. Message to the youth, you know, don't be afraid to go try new things. Go do things, you know, get educated. Travel the world, go see different things. Home will always be here. Yeah, just don't be afraid to take chances. Go after it. Aim high.